I'm just like letting the stream pick up for a bit. What's going on, bud? How you doing, Ebor? What's going on, Kushal? What's going on, Ravi? Who else is on? Nice. I decided to go live because I just got here like not too long ago, about an hour ago. So I'm like settling in and doing just kind of relaxing right now. So I figured I'm gonna update the fish for you guys. So these are the fish that came in yesterday. Thank you. So this is the tank we set up last night for these guys. I brought the filter from home, some moss and stuff. I haven't fed them, so they're doing good. So yeah, like I also have set up a shrimp tank behind me. I'll turn around and show you guys that in a second. Let's look at these fish for a second. Actually, they look really nice. So far so good. I mean, I wasn't worried or anything, but just wanted to update and show you guys that everything's good. Everybody's doing well, as expected. Yeah, definitely has, people have their preferences. Really nice, Kushal. What's going on, Jonathan? How you doing? So if you're watching this right now, give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out. Like, hit the thumbs up button. It helps the stream out quite a bit. So yeah, we're just at the new house, and I brought some other fish. They're temperature acclimatizing, so I'm putting them into tanks once their temperatures warm up. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I wish I had some McDonald's right now. That would be nice. Oh, I'm having a beer. Cheers. I got here like an hour and a little bit ago. Actually, it's 11 o'clock now, so I got here at 9 something, like 9:15 or something like that maybe. And nice. What kind of beer? Grolsch, I think. Not a paid advertisement. I like these beers. They're nice. Taste pretty okay. How you doing, Sandy? Yeah, so I just want to update the fish. So everybody's doing good. These two have been pairing up. This white one, this platinum one in the middle, and then this short fin black marble one, right? So like these two of them. So what I'm hoping to achieve with this is potentially some pandas, so like the ones with the black stripes and platinum body, so platinum pandas. And I'm also hoping to achieve some long fin platinum pandas, because this guy carries the gene. But because they're both short fin, I'm not expecting too much of the long fin yet, but we can work on that as time passes. Excuse me. I really like this one with the red head. I hope she pairs up with something nice. She's really pretty. Can you guys see her? She's really pretty. She has actually three colors. So she has the red, the white kind of silvery kind of color, and black. And the black is very nicely colored on her too. So I really like that. Thank you. Thanks, bro. What's going on, Chance? Any news on the black rams? Well, you're gonna get Fish Easy's ram. All that's the only black rams available right now. I'm not breeding them. Only Michael is breeding them. So you gotta follow him to find out, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you are, but if you're not, you should go and subscribe to Fish Easy. What's going on, Scaper? How you doing, Carlos? Buddy, like, good day for sure. Tired as hell. Yeah, Fish Easy was here just now, actually. I tried to convince him to have a beer with me, but he said he had to run home because he was tired also. So, I'm having a beer. I think I'm gonna have several beers and pass out on the floor. But this time I brought like cushions and stuff, so I didn't bring my bed or anything. I have my mattress still there, but I'm gonna do all that once the fish are all moved in. So probably end of this next few weeks, you know, next 2 weeks I'll be fully in here. How you doing, Heather? So I know I was saying don't live stream when you're inebriated, but I'm not inebriated. I only had like one beer. I had like one, like not even the whole one yet. How you guys doing? Cheers. ME, what is ME? What state? Oh, you guys are talking on the chat. I'm reading the chat on the top of the screen here too. So we have two separate chats going right now. There's a chat going on Facebook. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I'm following the thread here. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Sandy is right. Definitely. So realistically, yes and no question answer. Like, yes in the sense if you can breed like 1,000,000 and sell 1,000,000, because you can sell them for like 25 to 50 cents each, depending on the size. Like, because even pet stores sometimes have them as feeder fish, right? So like, I think that is when the breeders realize that they've saturated the market, then they have to stop, like, because these things are produced in Ukraine and South, like there's parts of Europe, like mostly Ukraine, and you know, Ukraine is supposed to be like this big fish thing, you know, like I don't know why, but that's the thing, right? So yeah, you gotta sell a lot. But like, I mean, even if you can breed, let's say, let's do the math, okay? Like, let's pull out the calculator. I'm like a math person when it comes to these kind of questions. I'm not a business advisor or anything. I'm just talking pure logistical, hard. Let's see how many we have to sell, like in terms of numbers, to actually make a profit, okay? For it to be profitable. So let's see. So let's say, what did Carlos say? 10,000? No, million. Okay, so no, not 1,000,000. let's assume that you can breed and sell 5,000. Okay, realistically, 5,000 of these things per month. Okay, okay. So we're gonna be generous here. We're gonna sell them at 25 cents each. Okay, 25 cents. Right? So very cheap. And you're selling 5,000. Okay, is that what I said? Yeah, I think. Did I say 5,000? I said 5,000, right? Okay, so we're gonna breed and sell 5,000. That's our market. That's how much we can sell. Like that's how many pet stores or whatever, you know, like wholesalers or whatever you're that's buying from you. Okay, so you're selling them at 25 cents, and you're selling 5,000. So we're doing the math here. My calculator, handy dandy. 5,000, $1,250. That's a grand total of $1,250. Okay, this is not a bad investment actually. This is not a bad idea. So I do have outdoor space. I do have some tubs. I don't think I can breed 5,000 though, because I have like maybe 20 fish. To breed 5,000, I would say I would need to have a lot. I haven't done the math on that. But realistically, I could probably breed like 100 or 200 of these guys this year. So now, is that going to be profitable? Like, so, because I have 3 tubs that I can put outside. They're not going to make 5,000. Those 3 tubs each might make 50 fish, right? Like if I put 5 fish in or 7 fish in each tub, and no predators eat the parent fish, and granted that they breed through the summer, and I am diligent enough to feed them. You don't really have to do a lot of water changes in an outdoor tub because it rains. So let's say I end up breeding 150, and because I only bred 150, I also grew them out because I had the space for it, you know, in the tubs outside, you know, so I could probably like grow some out till like, let's say September, October, because white clouds can tolerate colder temperatures, right? So 150 fish. Let's say we sell them a little higher because I talked to the pet store. They know me. I'm, you know, kind of famous, whatever, like in the fish community. So they're like, yeah, we have this guy's fish, you know. So I might even have like some exclusive looking fish, you know what I mean, that are like actual white clouds, because white clouds that you get in the store are like a hybrid of like several different strains, mostly Tenectius albanubus, but also mixed with several other types of Tenectius, right? So their colors are kind of like whatever. But then there's the real Tenectius albanubus, which is like extinct in the wild as far as like I can remember. I don't know. They always say they find populations of these guys, but reality is a lot of these fish are extinct. You know, once they go extinct in the wild, like in the actual area, there might be remnant populations in small tributaries and stuff that are subspecies of the original or the main, you know, like species that we first, like, you know, found or whatever. And but the original species that was in the river, you know, that was described is gone, kind of deal. You know what I mean? So that's my that's what I think, at least. That as far as I can tell, that's the reality of it. But then every once in a while, some publications will come out and say, yeah, we found remnant population in this area or whatever, and they're not extinct in the wild. But you know, but they are doing well in aquaria, which is a good thing. You know, so thank you, Mr. Reef, Marif. Okay, nice. What's going on, Michael? Michael Shaw. Get there. But like if we did the math on that one, 150 multiplied by, let's say, 50 cents, $75. 3 tubs, you know, like is it worth it? No, not really. But if I can maximize that by, let's say, having 300 tubs, and each tub makes 100, let's say, that's 3,000, you know what I mean? That now starts becoming something substantial. But then you have to spend that amount of outdoor space at least all summer to produce this, to make a one-time profit of like, you know, $800 to $1,000 if you're selling between 3 to 5,000 at like 25 to 30, 40, 50 cents depending, right? So it's not that profitable. Yeah. Sorry, I went out on a tangent a little bit there, but the reality is, a lot of these animals are bred in Ukraine and other places, like where they have the large. It's a phenomenon, you know. There's farms out there. There at least used to be. Where there's still some, I'm guessing, but like the war has destroyed a lot of it. But that fish industry over there was pretty big, and it was supplying the market. Other than that, everything else comes from either the wild or Southeast Asia, or China. Mostly Southeast Asia, though. You know, that's like the big fish producers of the world, like Sri Lanka, India, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong. You know what I mean? Like the whole Asia Pacific, basically. That's who breeds the most fish and then sells to us here, and they also get the best fish out of the wild populations that are caught. So anytime like a special type of hypencestrus gets caught or whatever, they're the ones that end up getting them for most of the time. Every once in a while, like some of us get like lucky and end up getting some, but like most of the time, it's them that get first dibs because they pay the most amount of money for them. You know what I mean? It's all dependent on 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 financial incentives, right? Like because everybody's trying to pay rent and feed their kids, you know. So, but yeah, it's fun. What's going on, GB? Thank you. Mystery snails feed. Yeah, I know. I saw that. You were telling me. Who do you sell them to? Oh, to the pet store. And how much do they sell it for? Like, let's learn this. This is a pretty cool thing. I love it. You know, every time like when somebody says like the other day somebody said they were selling the Malaysian trumpet snails, and I'm like, yo, like I have so many of these. Like enough times like I don't throw them out, but like at the same time they're like everywhere, like in all my tanks, right? Well, I guess not in this tank, yeah. But like as soon as I put some sand in here, they'll be in the sand and they just populate out of the sand, and then eventually the whole sand bed is filled with them. But like they don't seem to be ever overpopulated in my tanks because I don't also overfeed. I feed very little, I think. Um, and then that seems to be good, you know. But like, I mean, I never thought that that would be a profitable thing to keep and breed. Like, but Malaysian trumpet snails, like, I mean, it's insane. How do you make money off of those? But here we are, and mystery snails. How big are the mystery snails that you're selling? That's something I want to know. Well, this is the thing though, Ebor. There's so many different species, right? There's millions and millions and millions of species, right? Like, I mean, like, okay, so you know Dr. Thomas, right? Like my friend. Like, so he breeds snails. Like, I mean, land snails. Like, you know these big, like his kids actually. It's not even him. His kids keep like these giant snails, right? Like, I mean, I remember these. I lived in Sri Lanka, so there we have rainforest and stuff. Like there's these snails that like grow like pretty large, like 7-8 inch shell. Those were normal. Like they were common 8-inch snails. Like and with the big shell, they were like outside too, not like in the tanks. These things like live outside. Like when it rains and stuff, you see them everywhere. Like big ass snails, right? And so like so Thomas's kids and obviously Thomas is supervising keeps them like as pets and they breed, right? And then they sell. Like he takes them to the pet store and gets money, right? Like people breed crested geckos. Like I have a friend, like he's not even a fish person. He breeds crested geckos. I know people that breed like Jonathan, he's on the chat right now, breeds sugar gliders, right? So like everybody has all kinds of different hobbies. I used to breed frogs, dart frogs. Very profitable. I mean, like super bloody profitable. You just have to have a way to sell them and get it to your customer. So like where I live in Toronto, it's a mega city, right? Like we're the fourth largest city in North America. So like, and then that's just Toronto. Like right now, I'm not even inside of Toronto. I'm at the suburban outskirts of Toronto, right? Like where like obviously it's not the best of the suburbs. This is not the burbs. This is like Bramladesh. You know what I mean? It's brown people town. Like this is all like literally like when you go outside, it's culture shock brown people, right? So but like it's still not inside of Toronto. But this is another city literally next to Toronto. Like I got here in 40 minutes. Like I drove from downtown Toronto or midtown Toronto to where I am right now, which is like on the outskirts of Toronto. It's another city, you know. This is downtown, like Bangladesh. Like you know, like I drove here in 40 minutes without traffic. So there's like a million people here alone, like in this Bangladesh of area, like million brown, probably more than a million brown people. I swear to God, there's a lot of them, a lot of us. I guess I'm one of them too, right? I'm one of us, you know, whatever. So it's like it's crazy culture shock. Like I literally like I'm just like whoa, I'm back in India. Like I've been to India, right? Like I'm like whoa, like I'm in India, like you know, like straight. It was crazy. Like there's like streets that and stuff named after like Indian people, Indian names on streets, you know, whatever. So it's a change from where I was like 40 minutes ago, which is like a Jewish neighborhood, like you know, like and all the people are like you know pretty much Jewish, and because I'm like similar, like you know, like Middle Eastern kind of color, I kind of blend in. They kind of like me because I have a dog and stuff. They always like you know like really like my dog and stuff. So like it's like pretty cool, but like it's like you know like and there's a decent amount of like every kind of people there, but it's like predominantly Jewish neighborhood. It's fun, but like you know what I mean. And that's a culture shock too. When you go there, you kind of like especially when you run in the streets. Like if I'm running down the streets, like it's like pretty orthodox. Like people wear like yarmulkes and all kinds of stuff like Sundays, and they see me, they're just like you know like heathen, you know. Like I'm running with my dog, they're like they don't like me, but like the progressive ones like in the outskirts seem to be cool with me, you know, like whatever. But like here, it's more like everybody looks just like me. It's crazy, you know, and it's like a million people, right? So it's easy to sell. Like you know, there's so many opportunities to sell animals to all these people, right? So like I guess my province has 15. No, how many million people does Ontario have? Like let's find that out. Like I can sell to anybody in Ontario, and like I do. I sell. Heather lives the furthest north, like populations go in Ontario, right? Like as no, I guess there's more north than where Heather is, but it's not that far from there. Like it's in maybe another 12 hours, right? So I sell fish to Heather, which is like up north from where I am in my own province. I think she's about 8 hours drive from where I am, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I also sell to people that are like south of me towards like Niagara Falls, which is like at the U.S. border. And then towards east, I sell to like Longfin Lagoon, and he lives in Kingston. So that's like east of me, right? Or I guess northeast. I can just say east because of it up there. So I can sell to anybody in my own province, and my province has 15 million people, right? So for me, like even when I think of pet stores, I have 50 million people market worth of pet stores. Do you know what I mean? Access to me. So that gives me like a upper hand in the market compared to like let's say somebody that might not have that, right? Like so like also like if I were to move to let's say like another part of like Ontario even like you know if I were to move to let's say Niagara Falls, I would not have access to the Toronto market as much as I would right now, right? Toronto is a huge market. It's like at least like 10 million people probably out of the 15 million live like in the GTA and around there. You know what I mean? Which I can drive to and like drop off fish, you know, whatever. It's crazy. So that's a pretty cool advantage, I guess. What's going on, Kai? There's a lot of Indians. There's some black people in this neighborhood because like it's basically Indians and there's a couple of Asian neighbors that I have here. So I've been driving around, you know what I mean? I haven't seen a lot of Asians, like Toronto is pretty segregated. Like we have like that woke agenda stuff going on. So like there's like a full on Sri Lankan neighborhood. Like my cousin and stuff. Like when I go to like my garage today, when I went to drop off my car, it was like we are Sri Lankans. Like even in his garage, like everybody, like and then everybody, all the customers coming in, they all live there. My mom and dad also live there. Do you know what I mean? It's all like it's literally like that. Like it's crazy how segregated Toronto is in terms of race or I guess ethnic background and whatever. It's crazy. Like everybody's in their own little whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. I think everybody should just like intermingle. You know, do their own thing, whatever. Like I mean, why do I have to live in Brampton just because I'm brown? Nah, what a shit. I'm definitely getting an RO unit. Like that's a must. So I need money for that. Like that's something I need to budget for. I need to get an RO unit like ASAP, and I need to get a carbon block filter. Like those are must. Uh, no, I know because the thing is, okay, even for me, like I gotta be honest. If I didn't have Melanie driving them for you, like it's a pain to ship fish. Do you know what I mean? I'm just a like I have friends that do other things outside of fish, so I often talk about my fish when I'm around them or when I'm talking to them about shit because this is what I do. You know what I mean? So I'm like always just like yeah, like you know, like I'm trying to get some fish up to your ways, whatever. And then one of my friends kind of like decided to help me out and drive it for me. You know what I mean? That's how that thing worked out. But like now that it's there, I can do that. And then I have another friend that drives to Kingston and Ottawa that also can drive to Montreal. So that's how that one works. And then I also have a rideshare guy that drives to Montreal on Sundays that's willing to take fish. So that's how Montreal trips work. So, and that's like a crazy one too. The Montreal trips basically how it works is I have to go like okay. So this guy leaves from Yonge and Shepherd at 8 a.m. Okay, on Sunday. You have to be there at 8 a.m. But sometimes he's late. There's times he's been late like till like 9:30 and I'm sitting there with a box of fish that I'm supposed to send to my cousin, cussing my cousin and saying, yo, like this is messed up. Like I don't know why I'm up here at like 8:30 in the morning and calling the guy, he's not picking up his phone, whatever. Right? But he's reliable in the sense that he makes sure that he takes the fish to the destination. And then what you have to do is you have to meet him. He'll call you when he's, I guess I call whoever I'm sending the fish to when they leave Toronto, and he calls that person when he's exiting the highway, and they have to meet them at the exit. So they have to know to be there at that time. So he gives me an ETA to that location on his GPS. He texts it to me, and then I just text my client or my friend or whoever it is that's getting the fish. Here it is. They're coming at this time to this place. Be there. B squared. Pick it up. You know, that's it. And then you pay the guy, right? He charges $40 per box. Doesn't matter how big the box is, unless it was a tiny box, he'll charge you like $20, right? Like if it's one beta, $20. If it's anything more than one beta, $40. That's how it works. 2 boxes, $80. That's it. No discount. But he's a nice guy. His name is John. You know what I mean? I like him. He works. You know, it works. But it is what it is. What's going on, Leo? What's going on, Goji? Man, sleeping. I want to sleep. I'm tired. I'm finishing this beer and I'm finishing another beer and I'm going to bed. What's going on, Christopher? Yeah, like, what's going on, Greg? What's up from New York? What's up to New York? How you doing, buddy? All right, New York in the house. All right, guys. So, and girls. So basically, you know, whatever you breed, I think it boils down to how much people you have access to. Do you know what I mean? Or how much fish people. Now, if you are in an area where there's not a lot of people, you can still access the fish people because a lot of these fish people, not the new fish keepers. So if you want to sell fish that are going to be like first time fish keeper fish, like, you know what I mean, which are sold at like Petco, whatever, you're not going to have much difficult time with fish clubs. But I think if you have like, you know, like an advanced level types of fish, or you're keeping some nice stuff, like at least even nice angelfish and stuff, you can sell these at the fish club. Like people go goo goo gaga when they see like a nice good quality longfin veil-tailed angel, you know, or like some, you know, like exclusive color, whatever it might be, you know, like a blue or a platinum or a red, you know, whatever, like a full solid color fish. I mean, even I go goo goo gaga when I see them, right? So that's all it is. So if I'm anywhere, like at the fish club and whatever meeting, whatever, or auction, and I have these like super nice, super exclusive fish, and I put the bidding at even like $10 each, that fish is gonna sell for like 30, $40 each, like easily at the auction, because people are gonna want it, right? So it depends on that too. So like there's that potential also. But again, like let's be honest, this is not a hobby where most people can become millionaires. You have to be really like working hard and really smart and breed just like the most bread and butter types of fish that you can sell in large quantities, that your country sells, or your province or your state or your city, you know, has demand for, and then that's when you can make money. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. Toronto doesn't have a fish club. I'm sorry, Chance. Toronto does not. Toronto sucks. But I'm not in Toronto anymore. I'm in Brampton right now. I'm in Browntown. And I'm not proud of it because the water sucks. I don't understand how the Brampton water sucks so bad. Like, I mean, I had to look. I bought a bottle of Prime over. See, I don't even use Prime. Look, Prime is here. Why is Prime here? Because Brampton water has so much chlorine. And then Michael's buying some cisterns and stuff for me to age water. But I need an RO unit because I can't do this. Brampton high chlorine water, not cool. I don't understand that. Like, I mean, you're in Toronto, you have like good water, and you come here, you have like chlorine water. No, like it literally smells like a swimming pool. Look, I brought water from home to drink. Like I drink, like I have no problem drinking this water because it doesn't smell like a swimming pool. Does not smell like a swimming pool. But if I open this tap, that smells like a swimming pool. Like that's not cool. I don't want my dog to drink that water either, so I need to get an RO unit, and then I need that for the Zeb tank too. Good water, Toronto water, right? Brown Pride. I mean, bro, like it's just funny because it's called Brampton Flower City, right? That's the slogan. Brampton's slogan is the Flower City. I don't know why they call it that. Like I just found that out because I was just looking for memes about Brampton, and somebody posted that the other day, and the meme said, you know, you're mad about your life. There's people living. Let me show you guys this bloody meme. This is why I make fun of it, because and everybody here, like it's not even a cliche. Like this is literally what it is. It's not even a joke. Like it's that bad, you know. Let me find this for you guys. Okay. Maybe I didn't save it. Shit, I probably didn't save it. I thought it was hilarious though. I posted it on my Facebook, or shared it on my Facebook. Oh, there it is. I saved it. I thought it was so funny. I actually did save it. Look, read that. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me show you guys this. This is bloody hilarious. Okay, there we go. No, where's the camera? The camera's right there. Okay. All right. Hold on. Sorry. Actually, you guys can look at that too. That's some of the L340s from last year that have grown up. We are gonna move these guys over here in the next couple of days. Actually, this is gonna be one of the first fish I want to try to move because I've moved these like before, and they move quite nicely, and their tank is quite easy to move. It's a 25 gallon tall. So I'm gonna move that entire setup in the next couple of days in the new truck. Let me try to find the Brampton picture. Hold on. This is a funny ass picture. Alright, you guys look at the fish. Good night, Goji. Daniel's like, yeah, you know, like he's tired. I saw Daniel like a bit earlier too. I can't even find the picture anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright. Read that. I don't know if you guys can read that. Alright, there we go. Stop complaining about your life. There are people who literally live in Brampton. Brampton, Flower City. Me, I'm like, I am people. What the hell, man? I am this people. Literally living here. Okay? So if you have problems in your life, you think you have problems, stop complaining. Because I'm living here. Okay? This is literally the truth. Funny, right? Right. That's that I saw that and I'm like, yeah, fact. Facts. Facts. It's hilarious, yo. It's I mean, listen, you go to the Home Depot here, you'll know what I'm talking about. You get no service. Like literally. I'm there at the Home Depot, I'm trying to buy cinder blocks, right? This is not even a joke. This literally happened like last week. So I went to the Home Depot and I'm like showing on my phone. I'm like, look, ma'am, it says right here you guys have 261 of these 8 by 10 by 16 bricks, and there's 169 or 100 whatever number it was of the 8 by 8 by 16. Okay, so you cannot tell me you have no cinder block in store because I'm seeing it in your inventory on the Home Depot app, right? And this woman is telling me, nope, we have no cinder block, whatever. This is after they sent me back and forth from the garden center to the front desk to the help counter to like, okay, so now this is Brampton Home Depot, right? I have cinder block. I don't know if you guys remember, I have cinder block now. Like I went to the Home Depot by where I used to live, downtown or midtown, and I bought cinder block. I got like my trunk full of cinder block, and my car couldn't even move uphill. Like I had to take the car back to the shop. You know what I mean? Like literally, I'm not even joking. I dropped it off at my cousin's shop earlier today. You know, AGI Auto Group. Like not a paid advertisement, but yo, that's my fam. So go check them out. You know, they'll hook you up. They're like, they do body work, paint work, transmissions, all kinds of stuff. Right? Anyways, I was like, yo, I went to the Home Depot at like where I used to live, right? And literally I went up to the counter and I said, ma'am, I need to buy some cinder block. Right? That's it. And she said, it's right there. There it is. You know what I mean? Like it's outside ready for you to pick up. You know, whatever. This place, it was like literally these people had it in store, but they just didn't want to go find where it was in the skits and pull it up for me. It blew my mind. Like I had to go downtown to pick up cinder block and bring it out to the suburbs. That's disgraceful, right? And but then like when I went to like Burger King like yesterday, like it was all brown people there too, and they were all like really competent. The lady was. This is the thing. There's like it depends on the management. The lady at the Burger King yesterday, she was like cracking the whip, right? This woman reminded me of my mom. Like it was just like crazy. Like she was like cracking the whip on these like teeny bopper like brown kids that was like working at the Burger King, right? And so I was like, so she was the one who was manning the counter because he wasn't busy inside the Burger King. It was just busy on the drive-through. So she was manning all the chicks that was running all the like the fryers and you know taking orders, all that. But then you know like it was good. Like she was still running. I was the only person inside the Burger King because everybody just goes for the drive-through. I just parked my car. I live right there, so I was like it's like 8-minute drive. So I was like yeah, I got a little drive. I parked my car, dog sitting in the car, and I went inside the Burger King. And so I said to her like you know like you're cracking the whip on them, right? She goes, I want to smack them. If it was my own kids, I'd smack every single one of them, right? So I said, yo, like that sounds just like my mom. My mom beat my brother, right? Like when my brother was like small, my brother did something really wrong. I can't remember what it was. Like he was like 9 or something, and my mom beat him good. You know what I mean? So my brother called the cops. Okay, this real life story. My brother called the police on my mother. Okay. He was 9, I was like maybe 14, 15. He was like 10. He wasn't that small. He was like 10. He was like so he was of understanding age of this new power that he has received from his school, you know what I mean? His woke ass liberal stupid ass teacher, right? I'm sorry, but like this really happened. So it bothered me quite a bit even when it happened. So he called the cops the cops showed up outside my mom's house. I was there. I was like 15 years old, whatever. And they're asking my mom, like, did you hit your kid? My mom said, yeah. My mom said, beat him good too. I didn't just hit him. Like, you can go see. Like, no bruises or nothing. But she punished him. She spanked him pretty nicely. You know what I mean? He got it. So then the cops were like, okay. And then my mom said to them, if I didn't do that, it would be your problem in the future. That's why I do this. You know what I mean? So if you have a problem with that, you can arrest me. The cop said to my mom, thank you for your service, ma'am. You know what I mean? Because you know what? Scarborough Brown kids, like gang members, you know what I mean? Committing all kinds of crimes. You know what I mean? They have a special task force to police people of my ethnicity. Like literally. It's literally called the Tamil Task Force, okay? So it's not nice. Like those kids, like even like when I grew up, I was a good kid, but like still, like, like all my friends, like a lot of them are deported, dead. Like, Aggie, like the guy AGI is my cousin is married to his sister. He's dead. He got chopped up by our other mutual friend who's not now on the run for the last, like, I don't know, 20 some odd years, right? So like this is like the people that grew up. So the cops know how bad it is with these kids. So it's good that at least some parents are taking the initiative to raise them in a sense. My brother's not committed crime. He's in the army, in the Canadian Reserves now. He's retired, right? So anytime if our country has to go to war, this idiot would have to go fight. I mean, I'm not really confident on his ability to defend our country because he's a fat slob, but still, he is in the army, so I respect him for that. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I respect him for, is that he's in the army. So, like, I'm like, all right, you did something. You know what I mean? You're doing something. Like, at least you trained some soldiers to protect our land and stuff, whatever. So so that is the difference. I don't know. Like, that's what I think. What's up, BT? What's going on, Ray? You sat there in their circles. This is the thing. I feel like disciplining your kids is important, man. Like, my dog is well disciplined. She's like my child, you know what I mean? Like, today I took a video. I was outside. So she was sleeping, right? We came in, she was tired, whatever. So she passed out. I put a blanket off her and everything on the floor. So she's passed out, right? I went to the truck to get something. And I came back and I heard her like wake up and look for me, right? And then, like, the door is bloody wide open. So it's the second time her being here. She could run outside and go look for me, right? But I had told her not to come out of that door. She stuck her head out. I have it on video. She stuck her head out and looked at me, looked around, and then she saw me. She's like, "Whoop." That's it. You know what I mean? Once I tell that dog, all day today, like, she's not right beside me right now, but like if I would walk anywhere in this house, she'd like come stand right beside me, right? That's how she is at the house too. So it's just like, once they know that you're the authority and you set the rules properly, they behave. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like discipline my dog or anything. She's just good, but at the same time, it's just respect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just they recognize like your authority if you kind of like show them that this is how it works, and then they are good. Like, I don't have to worry about my dog running up and doing anything wrong to the kids in the next door house. Like yesterday, those kids came and petted her and everything. The mom was kind of like, yo, your dog looks big. Like, I don't really want my like 3-year-old and 5-year-old near your dog, right? I was like, don't worry, my dog is very friendly, right? So I just put the window down, and she was sitting in the car, right? So I said, you guys can go pet her, you know what I mean? At your own discretion when you're ready to touch her and pet her, you know what I mean? Don't like, I'm not, whatever, right? Like, if they're scared, they're scared. But the kids really want to like pet her, you know what I mean? So the 5 or 6-year-old, whatever, he was petting her on the head and stuff. Eventually, like, like they're like buddies now, and then the mom's pretty comfortable, so she's like having a conversation. It was funny, and that can only happen. Like, look at this thing, this huge ass dog. What's going on, Joe? This is like a 110-pound dog, right? It's a big dog, so like obviously a 5 or 6 year old, if this dog is not well behaved, that's not good, you know, around a 5 or 6 year old or a little kid, you know what I mean, or baby. The next door neighbors have like a tiny little baby, like for 5 months or something like that. That thing looked like small, like it just came out like yesterday, you know, fresh, like like a cute little thing too. Like I think Joshua was his name. I can't remember. I think Joshua. Dad's name was Ben. Ben, I think. There's so many neighbors. Oh my God, it's crazy. I'm not used to this. I like where I lived. I had no neighbors except the people downstairs, which was a business. So they're like my neighbors, and I kind of like was nice to them. This is like, woof, shock, man. It's crazy. Anyways, it's hot in here. Had to take the jacket, the hoodie off. Oh my God, guys and girls. It's overwhelming, eh? It's crazy, like, because where I lived before, it was like nobody next door. There's people living down the street, and I only see them when I walk my dog, and I say, good morning, how are you? You know, it's nice weather, shit weather, oh shit, it's snowing. That's the conversations I used to have. What's my dog's name? Princess Peach. Yeah, you have to. It's not, you know, like, and this is the thing too. Once you, like, if you're, this is my theory. This is my philosophy. I never had to teach my dog anything. Okay, and this is the truth. And we're going off a topic of fish, but I think this is important in life. So I'm gonna say this one thing, is that if you have control over your own self and your own life, okay, if you are in charge of you, like, you know what I mean, and you're not letting other things influence you negatively, and you're, you know, you have a guiding concept of, you know, God and whatever, you know, spiritually, however you want to define it, you know, whatever religion, whatever, I think, but you know, like, I believe in just God, you know, no other gods, just one God. You know what I mean? I don't want to complicate things. You know what I mean? You know, there's one God, two genders, two sexes, two genders. You know, that's it. Like, there's no in betweens. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. And the Earth is round, and it goes around the sun. You know, like, these are all factual. This is to me, right? But once you have that, I think you have control over yourself and your actions, and you're, you know, centered. Everything around you kind of falls in line with you, like, especially like man-woman relationships. You know what I mean? Like I've noticed, like I have these girls that I'm into that are also into me. So like we have odd conversations. Sometimes they message me. They slide in my DM and stuff. You know what I mean? And usually that always happens after they've like fully like thought that, you know, try to tell me like off, or like, you know, fight with me on some bullshit, and then, you know, I just stand my own ground. You know what I mean? I just say, yo, listen, like, this is what I believe in. If you believe in that, that's good, but that doesn't mean that I have to believe in your BS, right? And then the next day they're all kind of like messed, like, or like they're mad with me, they delete me from Facebook and all this stuff. 6 months go by, they re-add me, they message me back, say, I'm so sorry, you know, like, I was having a tough day or whatever. This happened actually yesterday again. And she's just literally slid in my DM too. Like, this is like somebody I like barely had any conversations with at work. We worked like one time together, and that was it. She's a really cute girl. She's a model, whatever. And then she had a huge argument with me about abortion. And all her gay friends and her, you know, non-binary friends were calling me like Nazi on Facebook, straight on my Facebook and on her Facebook, and telling me that my mom should have aborted me and all these kinds of things. You know what I mean? Nasty things. And so I still stood my ground. And then whatever, she added me back like a few weeks ago. And then I made a joke about one of her posts. And then she went off on me, and I said, listen, we already are not friends because, you know, we believe in different things. You know, I believe in one thing, you believe in another thing. So I thought she'd delete me by that point, but she didn't. She messaged me yesterday, and she's like, yo, I'm really sorry. I was like really upset, or going off or whatever, some bullshit excuse and whatever. And I said, it's all good, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at any of that, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm sitting there grudging and shit. Like, this is not, you know what I mean, the end of the world. But it's funny that now, like she's literally like messaging me trying to get on my DM when I'm not even like, you know, even after I thought I should message her back, you know, like today it was her birthday, so I messaged her happy birthday, and she was so happy. She's like, thanks, hon, and then she's like messaging me back and stuff, all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, like I'm not trying to get on your DM like that, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like I mean she's cute though. Like I don't mind getting on her DM now that I think about it, but like it's funny, you know, it's so funny how that whole played out. Because I like in conventional terms, girls like that, you know, would never talk to you ever again, right? Like because we have complete differences of opinion. So what? She changed her mind now? Like what? She got vaccinated and like you know thought that now because I'm vaccinated, like pro life all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Did the vaccine make her pro life? I don't know. Like maybe she didn't get vaccinated. I don't know, right? Like, but whatever. It was funny though. But my point is, dogs, people, you know, kids, everything, they all fall in line when you have control over yourself. You know, once you're yeah. And then you have to be like my mom. You know, you got to beat them sometimes if they're your kids. And even the dogs, you got to yell at them. I guess kids also like. I mean, you don't have to always hit them. Like my mom's like excessive, I guess, on that. You know, whatever. But like with my dog, for example, I yell at her. I reinforce things. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, my door. Do not walk out of my door. This is bloody my door. Stand there like tell her that like 20 times. You know what I mean? Like new door, right? Reestablish my door. You cannot walk out in and out without permission. So now every time she comes in or goes out, she looks, okay, dad, all right, you know. That's I think important, you know. So now if I even date this girl, she's never gonna like try to disrespect me on some stupid shit, trying to tell me like abortion this or whatever, because like we already established that this is where I stand. Obviously, you know, I don't care if where you stand. We don't have to be friends, but you know what I mean. If we are gonna be friends, you have to also respect my stand on it. You know what I mean? Like that's true, Longfin Lagoon. That's so true, Ryan. It's so true, bro. Like I have friends like that. The dog does not respect them at all. Like I have this guy, right? Like I work with him, and he has a Doberman. Okay, cute ass dog. Like, but it's like maybe 11 months, and the guy's like, bro, like the dog terrifies me. I'm like, why? And he goes like every time like I try to sit on the couch or do anything, he chatters his teeth. It's like right. So I'm like, bro, that's not a good sign. Your dog definitely is alpha on you now. You know what I mean? He thinks he's the boss of you, like. And then he's like, I don't know what to do. You know, like. And then I think he ended up giving it up to somebody he knew or whatever. I don't know. It was sad like to watch. You know, because like some people shouldn't have big dogs. Some people like you know it's like you said, it's you know, if you act calm and stable, your dog respects you, your kids respect you, your partner respects you, your wife, you know. And if she's calm and collected, then even you respect her that way too, because that's the only time you can respect someone, if they're calm and collected. You know what I mean? Like I mean, they could be fun and exciting and shit, but like it can't just be like, yo, like you know, I don't know. I mean, there's it's not in packs only. There's like okay, so if you look at like packs of animals like wolves and stuff, right? Only two animals are breeding, and yes, most of the time the pack does constitute the younger animals that are offspring of the parents. But when they do want to breed, they don't stay with the parents. They leave and they become their own pack. So there is, you know, and within the offspring, there's still alphas, you know, that end up being the dominant members. Sometimes the non-dominant members will just join their pack and just be non-reproductive members. There are, how do you call it? In a wolf pack, for example, it's never like not unrelated animals, except unless it's a female. That's how that works. Only time in a wolf pack, for example, like another male will not generally be accepted. And this stuff is like on Discovery Channel, you know. But again, like it's all like interpretations of what people are seeing, right? But at the same time, you gotta also think about what you can see. So like I mean, I watch Discovery Channel and I see the behavior document. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I see that shit in my fish tank, right? Like I mean, I'm looking in here, like there's an alpha in here. There he is. See, yesterday he was kind of getting bitten up, right? Now he's the boss. She picked him too. She's the female alpha. So she's the alpha female, this is the alpha male. They hold 1/3 of the tank. All the other fish hold the other 2/3 of the tank. Okay? There is an alpha pair. So these two are the most dominant fish in the tank. He thought he was the alpha because he was the alpha in the tank when these guys were in the tank together. They're the young fish, right? So he was the boss. And this guy is the great granddaddy alpha. You know what I mean? He's older, he's mature, he's bigger, he has a lot more size on him. They're about to lay eggs. And that happens, all these fish gotta go. Otherwise they all get killed. Like, once they lay eggs, these two are not gonna tolerate these other fish. Right? So, I mean, I'm kind of concerned. I probably will end up moving them in the next 24 hours because I'll be here. But yeah, this is life. But again, this is an aquarium, so I mean, you can argue that this is a controlled environment and it's not nature, right? But this behavior also exists in nature. This is exactly how they breed in nature. They live in a not tightly knit but like loosely knit group, and then pairs will form like here, and then they will go off on their own into their own area, and then obviously they'll chase anybody that comes there. They'll go to the corner and they'll lay eggs in their own area, right? But in an aquarium, these guys have nowhere else to go. In a river, they have somewhere to go. So that's the difference. But yeah, Discovery Channel stuff. They get quite large, actually. I mean, okay, in terms of size, they don't get as big as these guys. These are like big. So I would say something like this size, which is about 2.5, 2 inches. This, okay, so a little bit bigger than this, I would say. That guy. Hold on. I'll find you a fish that looks like that guy. By the filter intake. Yeah. You guys are not getting fed today. Don't just relax, guys. No today. Okay? Food tomorrow. So you know the guy in the back? This one? Around that size. About 2.5 inches tall. And in body, and maybe like 5-6 inches in total height. Like about that big in total. And body wise about that big. Obviously it's going to be different from animal to animal too. Females are going to be smaller. But I mean, personally, bro, they're not easy to keep alive. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not easy to keep alive. So just keep that in mind. They're very hard to keep alive, especially in the beginning. When you first get them, is the hard time. When you have them for a while, it's fine once they adjust to your water and stuff. But they seem to come from acidic water, you know, or some type of specific types of water. So that seems to be a consideration or concern. Hatter says, one day I wish to breed exotic fish. Well, today can be that day. I'm not giving you any financial advice or anything, but breeding fish is fun. I want to breed, what do you call those things? The Bengay cardinal fish. They're like black. They look like a zebra pleco also. Maybe I have a thing for fish that look like this. Let me try to find my phone and find you guys a picture of what these look like. Bengay cardinal fish. There we go. Images. So this is a saltwater fish, right? I want to breed these. Okay? And I'll tell you why. They're so easy to breed. This is one of the most easiest saltwater fish. Let me try to get my camera. Where's the camera? Oh, the camera's up here. Okay. There we go. There we go. This thing. Okay? So, I want to breed this fish. It's a saltwater fish, super easy to breed, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because they are a mouth brooder. So you have a male and a female, and you have the. I guess you would want to have a group for larger success or increased success, and you put them in a tank by themselves with salt water, whatever, with filters, everything. Not too much else going on, I would say, just so that you can have easy access. You know, some coral if you want, or some green macro algae. So it's a larger types of algae, not the microalgae. Um, the red macroalgae is also good in a refugium or whatever sump or whatever, that however you have your tank set up. And the fish breed in their mouth. They lay the eggs, and the males will pick them up with his mouth, and he will hatch them for a certain amount of time, 2 to 3 weeks, and they will grow up into like little tiny little babies, and they come out, and they're pretty protected because they have these spikes all over them, kind of like their fins are like all erect, and it's crazy how they look. They're black and white, and they're so pretty, Look at them. Oh my god. They look like a zebra pleco, but like in the ocean, Crazy, right? Oh, no, I didn't say anything. I said crazy. Crazy, and Siri answered. Crazy. Crazy, right? I mess with Siri sometimes. If this is the thing, like, there's so much options in this hobby. Even corals, people breed corals, they make money from that. And they get a lot of pleasure out of it too. I think breeding corals seems like a lot of fun. I had a decent sized coral tank when I was in my early 20s, 5 gallon, full of like zoanthids. It was fun. I really liked it. That was really fun. And then I got a coral crab. I don't know if you guys know what that thing is. It was a nightmare because I didn't know I had it in my tank. Because it was like, the tank was just live rock and zoanthids just grown all over. It's a 5.5 gallons. So it's a tiny little tank, It's about that big. And the back was like divided out, and there was a refugium in the back with like a plastic cover, fully all the way down. And the refugium had like macroalgae, so there was a light behind that, like a specific grow light. It was well nice setup, and there's like tiny little pumps on both sides, so it's wave maker type of action. And just zoanthids, it's cheap corals, like $10 each type of deal. But there was like $700 worth of zoanthids, $10 each. So it was like a lot of little tiny polyps all over that thing. It was like well grown too. And then I bought this really nice zoanthid, and I didn't have a quarantine set up, and it had a little tiny little baby crab, I guess, a purple crab. And then within like 6 months, all my zoanthids were gone. I didn't know how. They just kept disappearing. Every day I would wake up and check, and a couple of polyps would have been gone. So like initially, how I noticed it was I started noticing a patch that was dead in the entire thing. And then a couple of weeks later, I was looking in there, and I had a fish in there, so I was feeding him, I had like some type of a crazy looking fish. It was fun, like, it was a nice fish. And I had 2 of them, but they were both male, so one killed the other one. And it was bad. Like, I saw him kill the other one too. He went and stuffed it into a hole in the live rock. Like, he literally grabbed him and stuffed him into a hole in the live rock. They were the same size, and the other one just broke in half as he went into the live rock. So I tried to pull him out, but by the time I pulled the live rock out and I put a light on it and looked and stuff, he was already squashed. That's crazy. They were good for a week, I think, together, and then all of a sudden they started fighting, and he grabbed him, and that was it for him. I'm pretty nice off of 1 beer, actually. Holy shit. Parabetta, Chananoidus, good deal. Wow, hot. It's not bad. $60. $60 is not bad. Let me try to catch up on some of the chat. You can look at the fish and stuff while I catch up on the chat. If I ever do saltwater, mantis shrimp is number one on the list. Those guys are not fun either. Well, they are fun. They're pretty as hell, but they can eat your fish. I've seen them eat fish. You know, so that's something to keep in mind. Mandarins, I really like. Definitely. Don't send you down the saltwater rabbit hole. Okay, so Leo wants to know best wild type of betas to breed, mouth brooding or bubble nest. Okay, so that question, I think it depends on you. For me, the mouth brooders are definitely easier because they tend to have larger offspring. I mean, not significantly large compared to the other ones, but for me, that like slight size difference where I don't have to feed them paramecium is an advantage for me personally because I don't culture paramecium. But now I might actually culture some paramecium because I actually have the space for them, right? Like this is a huge ass house, right? It's literally huge. Like I mean, now I'm in here, like I'm looking around and stuff. This is like my apartment is like smaller than this floor, or actually maybe with the bathroom and kitchen and everything, probably the size of this entire floor. That's what I used to have. There's 3 of these. It's 3 times the space. It's insane. You know, it's blowing my mind. Like I mean, I was talking to a friend of like to the person I got the place with, so I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, we can probably put like a triple stack there and like stack them up here. And he goes, you know, you don't have to worry about space like that right now because we don't have tanks to fill the space. It's crazy how big it is. There's 5 rooms in here, plus the living room, and the basement, and 2 bathrooms. You know, it's huge. It's a huge kitchen which I don't know what to do with. I'm probably gonna put a bunch of tanks here, like on the counters. What do you guys think? Should I do that? I'm already doing that. Definitely species only tanks. Definitely wild caught betta. Well, depending on what type of wild caught betta, but if you're doing like wild, you know, like the fancier wild kinds, like that are like kind of rarer, definitely worth it. And even the betta, the normal wild caught regular bettas, those are actually probably going to go extinct in the wild too, because I was watching a video the other day showing the habitat they're in, and it's drying up and it's being destroyed and covered up by dirt to create roads and houses and whatever. So the habitat's completely getting destroyed, and nobody seems to care. And then the wild ones are going to go extinct that way too. So it's probably a good idea to have those also. But species only tank, definitely. How many old these angels? You mean how old they are? This big one is old. 7-8 years for the really large one. Like the platinum. Can you see that one? And then this one here also, I think like the marble one. This little the gold one is a year and a few months. The marble one is, I don't know her age. I think it's about at least 3 years. And these guys are probably 1 year. Yeah, 1 year. So some of these are like 10, 11 months, maybe 12. That guy's definitely a year and a little bit. The one in the bottom is probably like a year. I didn't breed this one here in the bottom. This one in the corner. This one right here. Yeah, that one that just ran. I didn't breed that one. Everybody else in the tank, except for this platinum one and the black one, the black marble one you're looking at right now. So those 2 I didn't breed. And that one, where's that one now? This one right here. At the bottom. Hold on. There, she's hiding. Why are you hiding? I think it's that one. Yeah. Yeah, that one on the bottom there. She's hiding right now. She knows I'm looking at her. Okay, I'll back off. I didn't breed that one, but everybody else I bred. Also, my cousin bred this one, so I didn't breed this one here either. This little guy. This is for my cousins. This is also my cousin's, but I bred this one. So it's crazy how that works. You know, I know my fish. Like I know who's from my facility because I remember them. It's funny, right? Thank you. Oh yeah, these are not for sale. These are not mine. Most of these are my cousins, or we're trying to pair them up. This is all I have left. Also, I really like this black marble line, so I need to get some pairs out of these. You know, like ASAP, 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 like ASAP Rocky. But I do have babies that I can give you in like a few weeks. Actually, I'll have like dime to quarter size, like of the same bloodlines and even better quality reds and stuff, because I got them off of the outcrossings that I did. So I have some really nice red angels, tiny babies, and I also have platinums and platinum to red outcross. So I did a platinum uh, pearl scale male to a pearl scale red female. I still have the female, but the male died. I don't know how. I was not home that day. I came home and I found it dead. I think there was a power outage. I had a few casualties in that span of a few days, and that one and a few others. And so I think there was some power cuts during the day when I was at work, and that happened. So that's something I want to fix at this place too. I want to get a generator. But yeah, I got some nice babies out of those batches from the parents before the male died. So they're probably going to be all pearl scale, but some of them are going to be red, some of them are going to be gold, and some of them are going to be platinum, or like really nice, like this kind of shining kind of gold, like a whitish kind of gold, really nice. And those are all going to breed back looking fish that have this color eventually. Like 2 to 3 generations down, this is what you're going to get out of that. That's why I made that outcrossing. I want to get this, but in the long fin, like these, this guy's fins, with stronger genetics, you know. So I crossed his son, who was a long fin pearl scale, to his sister from you know, who has a lot more red and also is a pearl scale. You know, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I did, and I have about 400 babies out of that. And I also have babies from him and his girl, who passed away like the last couple of days ago when I was moving them. So I lost that one in the move. It's not my fish, it's my cousin's fish. So I'm kind of pissed off at myself for that happening, but it's not. It's an older fish, it's like 7-8 years old. So that happened. I'm being transparent, you know. There's no reason to like lie about this stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, lying to you guys is one thing, or whatever, but like my cousin, it's his fish, right? Look, they're fighting, the 2 males. So these are the 2 alphas in the tank, okay? So she's picked him because he's the strongest out of the 2. She knows. Like, you know what I mean? She's very alpha too. She's very strong. This female is very mean. This tank is about 15 inches in total, and like he's not like always extending it. So you know, right now he's maybe at about 7-8 inches. Right now, I guess maybe 8 inches. He's back there, but the tank itself is about 15 or 16 inches. I would say 16 inches. Let me back up from here to show you guys how that looks. And then there's about 2 inches of no water, because I don't want bubbles out, or maybe 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 right here. See, I guess about 2 inches, yeah. And then the rest is all water. So, but this guy was grown up by my cousin. So this fish was grown at my cousin's facility. He has 24-inch tanks. That's why they grow that tall. But then I also have his brother and his one of his older siblings, which is like one of my breeding fish. um, from like a few years back, and that guy's like the same size. So, and you remember, like when they're in the water, everything is kind of like holding a little bit down. They're not always standing up, except when they're trying to breed. But when you take him out of the tank and you put him on like a bucket, like a flat bucket, and then he's just on the flat bucket with like a tiny bit of water, then you put a ruler on it, you can see how tall it is. But I don't like doing that all the time. But if you know, like every once in a while, like if I'm moving them and stuff, I'll take them out and you know, just put a ruler in there, like a foot ruler, and then see how tall they are. And I mean, it's like a personal satisfaction, you know, achievement. I want to grow a big fish. How tall? Yeah, 24 inches. That's what I would recommend to keep angel fishing anyways. Like longfin specifically, if you don't want to have issues with them and you want them to be big and nice and beautiful and grow huge long fins and, you know, be always like extending them and stuff, lots of water height, because that gives them incentive to grow into it, you know? And always be like, oh, like this is me, I'm a peacock, you know, showing off to the girls, or the girls, excuse me, showing off to the boys, you know what I mean? They're always just showing off, trying to establish territory and dominance and whatever. Even in the group when they're small, they're always like, I was looking at the little guys today. I filmed them earlier before, like I thought I was gonna bring some today, but I didn't end up bringing them today. I wanted to bring some, and I was looking at them, and even them within like that group, because there's so many of them, there's still dominance and fighting and hierarchy. There's you know, in certain pockets, like there's like several hundred, like probably more than like several hundred. There's probably like 500 fish in there, probably more. I don't know. I put 5 different clutches, you know, large clutches, and a lot of them survived, you know what I mean, in the tank with the mom and dad while I was at work, and feeding them like 3 to 4 times a day, brine shrimp, you know, and but within that group, there's always fighting. Also, there's always not fighting, but dominance and establishing of hierarchy. So you see, like in like one corner, there'll be like 5 or 6 fish, and there'll be one that's like bigger, and he's always like the asshole of that group. And he pushes the other 4 or 5 around, and then those guys push each other around too. And it's always like an order, who's pushing who around. I don't know. It's funny, like to watch. You know what I mean? At like the tiniest little size, they just started looking like angelfish. So I'll put a whole bunch of them in a tank. We'll film them and see how they look. You know what I mean? In the next couple of days. When they beg for food, they show off. Yeah. They definitely show off when there's food also, you know, or when you're in front of the tank, you know, and then they're like, yeah, there's food coming, and they're showing off, you know. It's cool. How are the angels sexed? MC, that's a good question. So I'll show you guys. They're very difficult to sex. This big one here is a male. Okay, this guy. It's the big boy. The one in the back is also a male. You can kind of see that he has a little bit of a nuchal hump. A nuchal hump is this little notch that you're seeing on his forehead above his eye. Let me try to zoom in for you. But this is not really that good of a way to like determine gender or sex of a fish. Sex and gender are the same thing, by the way. From a biological standpoint, sex and gender are exactly the same thing, and there's 2 of them. Okay, and so you see that fish right there has a nuchal hump, which is the little bump on his forehead, and that indicates that it is a male. Okay, but look at this older fish who should have a nuchal hump, and he does not. So this guy, for all intents and purposes, looks like a female. This platinum one here, okay, does not have the nuchal hump, but he is the most dominant male in the tank, and she also wants to breed with him. So it is not a good way to determine gender or sex of the fish. You gotta look at the genitalia, okay, and you can clearly see in this fish, actually, if I can get him to cooperate. Hey, there we go. Do you see that little thing on his the place where he poops from, which is called the ventral opening, okay? So that's the ventral opening right here. That's the vent. So anytime somebody says that vent, see that? So in him, it's like a little tiny little thing, right? Like it's kind of pointy. It's difficult to see because he moves quite a bit, and it's hard to kind of zoom in just on that, right? So that's the vent. On a male, that's how that looks like. Okay, it's like a little tiny little thing. It's not big. It's pointy. You see how it's like a hook almost. When you look at it, it's like almost like a hook, right? You see it? So that's the male. So that's a only way to clearly identify and determine who is a male or a female. Okay, and that's how the male looks like. I'll try to get the female into focus for you next. There she is. You can't really see hers yet because she doesn't have eggs right now. She's just very dominant, so she's just pretending like she has eggs. But in her, that would be a large tube, not this tiny little hook thing. Okay, so you see the hook, the little pointy thing. I'll try to get him. It's hard to point because he moves when I try to point. Okay, I'm trying to. There we go. And okay. But if you Google it, you can see diagrams of this stuff on Google. You just have to find the right diagrams. I also have videos on this on my channel, explaining this quite in detail. In females, it's a much larger tubular tube. You know, it's like a tube that comes out, and it comes out quite long. But it only happens when they're ready to breed. Like this female laid eggs a few days ago, in another tank, and it's been like maybe a week or 7-8 days now, and she doesn't have eggs right now because she's older, so it takes her a little longer to grow eggs. So there's no tube, right? It's all gone in. But when she is ready to lay eggs, she will have the tube, and that's how you can tell. It's quite easy actually once you know what to look for, but that comes with practice and years and years of observation. You know what I mean? My cousin would come into my room and be like, male, female, male, female. He'll pick perfect. You know what I mean? Even fish that are young, and I can also do quite good. But like I think the average fish keeper would not be able to determine gender or sex because you don't know what to look for in the genitals, and genitals are not always out. So. Yeah, there is some differences, but very subtle. With angelfish, it's one of the fish that between the males and the females, there's not a lot of difference between the two genders or two sexes, and they look quite similar. But the males tend to be a little larger than the females, especially from the same clutch if they're brought up together and they're getting the same amount of food and they're in the same tank, same conditions and whatever. They tend to be slightly larger, the males, and the females tend to be slightly smaller. So here's a female a smaller female, right there. See, that's a girl, and see how she doesn't have the same pointy head thing. So this is a classic girl, classic boy. You can see the head on him, kind of, I guess, from here. You can see like it's kind of like bulging. See? Whereas like these guys don't have that. Like hers is not like that. No bulge. See, no, on the forehead, right above the eyes. On him, see? From the front, you can kind of see on him a little better. It's the same color there. Usually, that part tends to be like brighter. The bulge. His bulge is like all like red. So there it is. You see? See his hump? Right above the eyes. So like, where are you? Right here. There. See? That's a female. Oh, it's also a female. The old one is a male. She's really pretty. This one. I like her eyes. They're bright red. And that's a male. But he doesn't have a hump. I guess he does. It's difficult to see because when they're one colored like this, solid white, is very difficult to see the hump. He does have one, see? it's just difficult to see. It's huge too. See that? That's why she picked him, because he has a bigger hump. See? And he's wide. So, and there's a lot of fat on this guy. He's a fatty. He's a fat boy. He's like 8 years old, so like he's a great grandfather. All the fish you're seeing, all the platinum angels you're seeing, he's the original fish that produced all of those with another female, with his female for the last maybe 6 years. So pretty old dude. No. These guys, I just put them in yesterday together. They were in different tanks though yesterday. They were in like 3 or 4 different tanks. I just put all of them together yesterday in this tank. Well, that's because they haven't established themselves. They just got here. It's only been 24 hours. So, see this pair? Dominant pair. She's cleaning the glass. She's getting ready to lay eggs. She doesn't have any eggs yet. So there's no reason for her to try to kill everybody, because she's just keeping herself as the more important fish to the big guy. Okay, so this big white one here, he's the tank boss right now. Okay, so he is god of this tank. Okay, and what he does is regulate this guy. The one right beside him is the second dominant fish. She is the most dominant female, so she has a choice between these two males. That's why this gold one is not leaving this area, because he wants to mate with her. Okay, so everybody's just waiting their turns. There will be fights, you know, but obviously because there's so many other fish, it's not gonna be bad right now until they start laying eggs. So I'm okay until they start laying eggs. Once they start laying eggs, I'm screwed. Once they lay eggs, he will be prime target for him. And then she will go after all these girls, like her dead. He would probably get beaten up pretty badly, but because there's all these small ones, he wouldn't probably end up dying, because he'll probably end up going and hiding on the other side of this thing, right? So this is not gonna stay like this for too long. These fish are gonna go into the tanks upstairs that I've been setting up and stuff. But I set this tank up as my main receiving tank for any fish that were not a male-female mated pair, because then I can just put them in here, right? It's like what you're seeing here. So this is what is happening right now. This is a pairing. Actually, let's give this tank a name. This is the pairing up tank. So this is the tank where I pair up my adult angelfish. So anytime I have a fish where its partner died, I put them in here, or when I have young ones that I want to pair up, here we are. Okay. So, and here I know I wanted these two to pair up, that one and that one. Like, so that's my intention. Okay. I didn't expect her to pair up with him, because I had them together before and she beat him up. Like in the same group scenario, she picked a different male. I don't have that male right now. He died like a few months back. So she's now, I want to pair her up with him. Okay. All these other fish are just there to help with that. That's it. Well, as soon as they pair up and lay eggs, I will remove all these guys, or I will just catch those two and remove them. What I like to do personally is I like to take them right before they start laying eggs. So you see how they're like keeping that corner, and he's sticking around. He's not going nowhere. He wants to get in and beat him up, the white one, and he wants to take the girl. Right? But he knows that that guy is strong. He tried beating him up last night. Remember before I left, I saw him beating this guy up. He was trying, and he was being like a little, you know, like skittish. And I figured that he might get bullied overnight, but I didn't have a choice because I had to leave. So I just turned off all the lights and I left. But when I came over today, he was the boss. You know, so what I intended to happen happened. Look, just shows him off. And this guy's not running away, so he just bit him. Right? Things are gonna get violent eventually, but right now, they're just establishing themselves. This is how it works in nature. When they go off, like in the rainy season, the forest floods, they go into the forest where the trees are all underwater, okay? And then they lay eggs, two fish at a time, in their own little corner of inside the forest, the flooded forest. This is where these guys live in nature. And then what happens is they come out when the waters recede, all them and their babies and everybody, 6 months later, I guess 5 months later, would come out of the flooded forest and into the rivers and tributaries where they live in the dry period. So at that point, this is what happens. They all congregate together and they become these large groups. So they're all calm and relaxed because they're naturally, they're coming together into a dry period where they're all just in larger concentration. You know, they can't really fight each other because there's nowhere else to go. They're in this smaller space now, and that's normal for them for a few months. You know, but once the females start getting food and growing eggs, like, so if this female would not, if I don't feed this tank for like a week or so, they'll just live off of their fat reserves right now. They'll eat little things and stuff, but she won't grow any eggs, right? So they would not lay eggs. That means this can keep going on, right? But how long can you starve these animals? And it's not, obviously not forever. And then if you're just putting little bits of food, the big ones end up getting it, the bullies, and the small ones don't. So it always falls apart eventually in a tank. But in nature, you know, they're not getting fish fed for, like, let's say 2 months. That's it. So all their fat reserves are going to keep them alive for that 2 months. They're not going to fight. They're not going to hurt each other. They're chilling. There's no food. Like, I haven't even fed them, right? I told you I'm not gonna feed this tank for a few days. This is what I like to do when I want to get a pair, or when I'm moving, or if I have fish that are not paired up, you know, whatever. I just want to see which ones will pair up, you know, whatever. And that's what I do with angelfish, and it works. You know, and the larger population also helps. Catching up on the chat. Very nice shack, super cool, fully planted tank. That sounds awesome. And yes, thank you, Leo. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hitting the hay. Got to be up for work at 5 hours. Oh my God, buddy. I'm off tomorrow. I have to wake up and move an entire truckload of stuff, so I'm gonna hit the hay soon too. I know, me too, S. That is so satisfying. What, you think 8 years is old? These guys can live like a lot longer. I mean, it's difficult to keep them alive past like 10, 12. But I've seen people keep angelfish like 15 years, 17 years. My neighbor, when I was a kid, had fish. And the angelfish he had in his pond, like, this is outdoors, he had fish that was older than his kids, and his kids were like 20s, like early 20s, late teens, like 18, 19, 20s. And he had fish, the angelfish that he had, that was older than his 20-year-old kids. So that was super cool to see. You know, they're pretty nice. My uncle had some really old ones. My dad also, some big ones. So, like, Big Red, when I gave him to my friend, was like at least 7 or 8 years old too. So he lived like quite a long time. He's still alive. He's at my friend's house now. He lives in like a 180-gallon tank with a female. Just him and a female. Imagine that, right? 6-foot tank just for them. Planted, fully planted. There's no other fish except the two of them, and then they breed like rabbits in there. So he's breeding with the huge female that I bred myself also. I didn't breed Big Red. I bought him from Dragon King. Yeah. They laid on your heater. Well, they are not the smartest cookies in the jar, I'll tell you that. You know, like when you try to catch them and stuff, they swim back into the net. Like, have you ever noticed that? Like, if you try to catch angelfish, all you have to do is spook them from one side and put the net on the side. They swim right into it. It's crazy. You know, and then they can't turn around. They have to, like, they can't reverse, and they have to, like, do one of these like weird turns. It's so easy to spook them. You know. 90-gallon, but they fight with each other, so I had to separate them. Had them for 2 years. Yeah, that is so easy. They're one of the easiest fish to catch, especially the longfin ones. I love longfins for that. They're like
they're like honestly helpless as hell. Like they're so easy to catch because of their nature as well as having long fins. Oh, I forgot to update you guys. I gotta show this before I sign off. I'm not gonna stay on for too long, but I gotta show you guys this. Remember the shrimp we put in the tank yesterday? And this is an uncycled tank. I just brought the shrimp and their water and just dumped it in. Look at them. Everybody's doing great. See? These are the big ones. There's babies too. I'm trying to get, well, they're not coming to the front because there's no food, but I guess we'll start feeding this tank eventually in the next couple of days. But no deaths, no issues. There's a little guy. Oh, kind of see him. It's difficult to see because the glass is dirty. I guess I could clean it because remember, this tank was not set up. It's like an old tank that was just sitting in my house, and I just brought it over, and I figured I'm gonna put the shrimp in here. Okay, there we go. Give me a second. Let me clean the glass for you guys. I guess it needs to get done at some point. So since we are here, might as well. Hopefully, I need to get on top of the duckweed too. This is not something I want to deal with in this fish room or ever in my life. Okay, there we go. There's a shrimp baby. There's some really nice ones in here. They're all the same color. There's a little guy. Try to get him on focus. Can you see him? He's on the sponge filter. I guess no focus there anymore. There we go. Just kind of see him. He's tiny. This sponge filter is tiny too. There's the big ones. Well, it's not big, but it's bigger than the little one. This one's nice. There's another one. There's a bunch up here. Can you see them? They molted last night. I seen a couple of molts. You know, so that's normal. When they get into a new setup, they usually molt. But if they keep molting, like if I do a water change in here, so if this tank did not get was not cycled properly, like, you know, if I didn't put the beneficial bacteria, like all the gunk that I put in, then it would have a crash, and I would have to do a water change, and they'll molt again, and that's how you kill them, because they can't molt twice in a short period of time. You know, so that's something to keep in mind. But shrimp are super easy as long as you have a lot of gunk, like beneficial bacteria. And mom is essentially mats of beneficial bacteria. Like think of mom as like accumulated layers of beneficial bacteria and other organics, which keeps the beneficial bacteria alive, right? So that stuff is important in your tank, and as long as you can get that and throw it in there, good to go. Thank you. 10 gallon about a month, I got roughly 40 fry. Well, each female I think is capable of producing 20 to 40 fry depending on its size. If it's a large enough female, one female can drop 80 fry. I've seen mollies, like the larger sailfins and stuff, that are actually like 3 inches for the females, or 4 or 5 inches for the males. They get pretty large. Those can drop 100 babies. Like I've seen it. Like as a kid, I used to breed them. But the balloon mollies are basically a smaller version of this original species, right? The sailfin. So they can still drop a good 40-50 babies when they're fully mature adults. So yeah, it's quite possible. I had left them with someone. Oh, definitely. Yeah, let me catch up on the chat. Who did I miss? Did I miss anyone? I was just going off today too, so I'm tired, guys and girls. Do Shadow Masura pop out of Taiwan bees too? I gotta look that up. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta see what a shadow masura is before I say yes or no. I think so, but I can't confirm. I gotta look it up. I did miss some people, I think, or questions. Javier, what's up? No, no lid. No lid. Yes, Ibor, totally. No, that's essentially why I said this is a temporary tank. It's a pairing up tank where fish that don't have a male or female will end up going into with some younger fish that are growing up that only are going to pair up with like a specific fish that I want the male and the female to pair up. For example, these two fish right here that are pairing up right now. Where are they? There they are. There's the pair. I wanted these two fish to pair up. That's why they're here. And these guys are young fish that are growing up, that are not ready to pair up yet, and they're together because, except for the big gold one who is ready to pair up, but she does not find him attractive. She finds this guy attractive. I wanted this to happen. But if I just put these two fish together, if I had just him and her right now, he would go after her because she's not ready to lay eggs. She has no value to him. See, she has no pointy thing. His thing is out. He's ready. He's ready to have sex. She's not. So he will go after her. If I just had those two right now, if I removed all these, this would be a problem. Since she does not have eggs yet. That's why she's not going after these, right? So this is a very delicate balance. It's difficult to explain this to somebody that has not done this before. This is something my uncle taught me. That this is something other fish breeders also talk about. I've seen other master breeders teach this to other people. So basically, this is how you pair up angelfish that are adults, that are grown up in different tanks, in different places, in different setups. So if you wanted to just create an outcross with two fish that you really like the two fish, they're like what you want, or you want to create a pair. Let's say this is what look just like this one, okay? And that's what you wanted. You want two of the exact same kind, and you have them, and they're from two different tanks. They're not paired up. This is what you do. You put those two, and you put fish that are less dominant and younger with them, so that they can kind of be dominant against these ones and form a pair. And as soon as they start clearing up a place, and she has her tube out, and she starts going and chasing these around, then all these will get removed. What I like to do is I remove these two. I just put them in their own tank and end of discussion, right? Easy peasy. Anywho, I've done my beer. There, I'm done my beer. No, I know. Yeah, that's true. Essentially, what happens is, I mean, you can see it. Look at these guys. They look not happy, right? Do they look happy? No. These two look happy as hell, right? So I'm gonna give her some food in the next couple of days, fatten her up, and as she gets fattened up, these guys will get moved. I guess I'll move these two, probably because I want to keep this tank as my pairing up tank to grow out some nice fish because it's a nice tank. But yeah, like it's not a healthy place to be for the less dominant fish. Usually, the weakest ones end up dying in these types of hierarchical situations. I have losses of the weak fish, and there's times I just in this group I don't actually have any fish that I don't mind losing, but what I like to end up doing is if I have a fish that is a cull, for example, from another group that's younger, I usually end up putting those fish in with these larger ones, so they end up being the weakest fish in the herd, and if they die, it's fine because it's a fish that I was supposed to kill anyways or euthanize, and I didn't because I feel bad about it. So I use them for that purpose. I always keep my culls for that purpose, to keep as the weaker fish in a hierarchical setup, in a group wherever. I put the younger ones that are not as dominant with some of the older ones. You know, it is what it is. Um, what's my favorite easygoing plant? Um, I would say Java moss is pretty chill. Let's see some of that here. Um, this stuff here is pretty chill. I think it's called pennywort. This stuff. This is another one that I like. This is a Java fern. Let me try to zoom in on that. The ones with the leaves are the ferns. There's 3 different kinds of plants here. Probably about a fourth one too. And then there's this one here, right there. That's actually a water sprite. It's a baby water sprite. I don't like this one because, I mean, I don't mind it, but it is a good one. It's so fast growing. I hate it because it grows so fast. It takes over my tank so fast. I hate that. Another good one is also Jungle Val, but again, it takes over your tank so fast, but not as fast as Water Sprite. So between Water Sprite and Jungle Val, I like Jungle Val more because Jungle Val grows in the sand, so I can control it a little bit better. It takes a lot longer to take over your tank. Hold on, I have something in my nose. There we go. Good. I felt that. It works better in terms of like being able to control it. But with the water sprite, it just grows and grows and grows. It's really fast growing. So I really recommend that if you want that type of growth. You just need lighting. That's it. Yeah. It's so fast growing. What's going on, George? Good evening. What time is it in Cali? It's probably late in Cali too. Do you guys want to know something freaky? So this gets me, eh? Can you hear that? There's water like falling, right? See? Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it, but it's the tanks upstairs. Anywho, it sounds like something's leaking, so I got worried when I came in today. Got me pretty good. 9:42. So you're 3 hours behind us, or however you want to call it. So just showing off the fish from yesterday. Nothing fancy. Yeah, it's 12:43 here. I'm gonna read some of the chat real quickly. How you doing, Sandy? Javier says, cool, Mia, thanks for answering. Of course, I just, sometimes I go off on tangents, I'm sorry, especially like when it's late and I'm really tired. Like, don't mind me sometimes, because I'm also like trying to stay focused, but it's like, yo, there's a lot of things going on in front of me, in my head. There's like, I just heard that noise upstairs, so I was like, yeah, like that got me a couple of times already, but now I knew what it was. But it's freaky, like there's water dripping and stuff, so I'm like, ooh, that's happening. This fish is really nice. I really like this one. I bred this fish. Look at this one. I really like this one. Really like this one. It's a female. I wanted to pair up with where's the male? See, I didn't bring that male, so I have him in another tank. So now I have to set up a next setup to pair this one up. So I'm gonna do that with this one. But you see, like it took my attention, right? So I'm tired, and then I see it. It's like so pretty, That's why I like fish. It takes your attention, like away from whatever else is going on. So sometimes I'm like a little loopy or all over the place. So don't mind me, and just kind of chat back and get me back on track. What's going on? Oh, my foot got stuck. There we go. You guys are like 3 hours behind us, eh, George? 9:42. So it's 12:45 here right now. But yeah, you can see she's not ready to lay eggs yet. See, she went after the other girl. But she didn't chase him beyond this point. If she's ready to lay eggs, this point would be here. That's when it's danger zone. Okay? That's something to keep in mind too. So like if they're in a tank, if they're taking up the first third, they're not ready to lay eggs yet. They're just getting ready to lay eggs. They're just picking at them. This ends up becoming, see? She went after this girl again. This is like a dominant girl, right? She's not happy about her being in the tank. And she also wants to mate with this guy. She does not care about this guy who was the tank boss yesterday when he wasn't in the tank with them. You see how that works? So he was not paired up with her yet, but he was the boss. And she was like next to him. They were doing the same thing yesterday when I caught them all from the tanks that they were in. These two were in the same tank, right? And this guy was in the same tank. This guy, I just hadn't, had them all holding together. So it's so funny how that works. It's crazy, yo. Like it blows my mind watching these guys figuring that out. Well, I'm trying to do several different lines, but I always want this look, this high fin. Not this. This is not what I'm going for. Short fin I don't like as much. This is not my favorite. But there's people that love this look. Not me. What I like is that. Or actually there's a few other ones like this is a little too long. So when this starts happening, I'm kind of like, I still breed these, but I tend to breed these to short fins usually. But like what he has going on, the gold one, that look, like there's other ones in here. They're just like over here. They're not as dominant, so they don't want to get beat up. So they're all the way over there. What I wanted to say earlier, and I was trying to say actually, in kind of third of the tank. They're not trying to lay eggs yet. She's not incessantly cleaning or incessantly attacking. You're still good. When she starts pushing these guys past the midway point, okay, and then they're all here, huddled up, and she's coming after them, and it's not just coming after them, she's like really going at them, and then she's like ripping fins, and she actually just took a chunk out of this one right now. But yeah, once that starts happening, which is potentially, depending on how I feed this tank and how warm it is, it could be in the next 2 days, it could be in the next 1 week, whatever. At that point, things are gonna get bloody. That's all I'm saying. Saluasi shrimp. What's the pH you keep them at in TDS? It's the hardest thing. Okay, no, I'm not doing Saluasi shrimp. I don't like hard. Not that hard. Those things I heard are like very difficult. But it's so rewarding when you have something that's that difficult, Like, I know for you ultims are probably not that difficult, but for me ultims are like not the easiest fish. And so when I had, kept the ones I have alive now, I was feeling pretty good about it. But when I do water changes, I'm always very careful, But I can imagine the shrimp being even more difficult because they're so much more delicate, those Salawasi shrimp. And I think it's just that they require specific conditions, right? It is what it is. How much water do you change at a specific time, and what's the pH, and how do you do this? I want to know. You should make a video. CO2 RO max salt pH 8.5. Wow, temperature 82 ppm. Oh wow, it's like very specific. Damn. So they're freshwater. My fridge is making noise. It's telling me to take another beer. Okay. Yes, fridge, I will take another beer. Okay, I see what you're saying. So 8.5, that means high KH, right? If you're looking at 145 to 200 ppm, it's water that is directly off of limestone, right? That's when you get that type of condition, more or less, like pure limestone runoff. So it's very specific conditions. They probably live in like a volcanic or limestone, like mountain or whatever it might be. I don't know. I gotta look these up. Or island that's made out of limestone potentially. You know. Yeah, 82 degrees, not. Oh no, 82 ppm. Temperature 82. ppm is 145 to 200. So yeah, high kh. 82, not so bad. I mean, this house is 82 degrees right now. Are you kidding me? I like it hot too. Well, not me, but the fish. I'm actually getting warmer now because I've been here for a bit. It's like warming me up. So yeah. Crushed corals in the tank. Oh my god. This time I'm doing a bigger water change. 10%. Wow, you're doing a huge water change. This is like the reality of shrimp keeping. That's when you kill your shrimp, when you do water changes. If you do more than 10%, even with these guys, like like I could literally dump them. I kept them in a breeder box, mind you, with no flow, with just like subwater tank, like mostly, right, like this stuff. Look, and in moss, like moss and subwater tank. So this green stuff, all this was inside a breeder box, no filter, right? It was just water, fish, water, shrimp, and the green stuff. Okay. Since I got them from the pet store, that's how I kept them. I got them from the pet store about a month and a half ago. Okay, so I got 10, and I had 5 that I bred from before. I lost my colony. My colony crashed, I guess, because the pH dropped in the tank below 6, because that's where my longfin ancestors were. I lost most of them. I salvaged 5 of the nice ones, had them in the breeder box, put the other 10, and there was 15 shrimp in a tiny little breeder box. And I just put the water from the pet store right into it, caught the other 5 that I had, in the tank, put them in there, forgot about it. And every third day I might have put some food, that's it. And they bred in there, everything was fine. I brought them here, dumped them all into here, and I already had like maybe 2/3 water in here, and everything is good. Okay, so no issues, right? They molted when I did that, a couple of them, but majority of the water in here is from the breeder box. I guess not all of it, but about 1/3 of this water is from the breeder box, plus like water that was from the tank that the breeder box was on, so very similar. And look, they're all doing great. But if I do a 20% water change in here right now, some of these guys will die. Right? That's the reality. More than 20%, I guess. 20%. If I do like a 30-40%, yeah, you're looking at losing shrimp. Right? So with these guys, George is saying 10%. So Boasatang is my favorite. I love it. Oh man, they grow so fast. It's so much. I don't know why these things grow so fast. It's so much of it too. Like I don't know what to do with it. I need to sell it, or like, cause I end up throwing it out. Drip. Yeah, that's not a bad one actually. I've done that. It's just pain in the ass, or even adding like small amounts. What I used to do is I would take, if I want to do a 50% water change, because like if I neglect a shrimp tank and things are off, I need to fix it, right? You need to do a large water change. So what I used to do is I'd take like 50% of the water out, and then I'd put like a cup of water every like half a day. So like before I go to work, I see that the tank's at 50%. I'm like, okay, I need to fix that. Put a cup of water, and then next day I put another cup of water. Same thing happens if I neglect the tank long enough and it evaporates at 50%. That has happened for me too, where like 50% of the water is evaporated. There's like 3-4 inches of water, or 5 inches of water, and I guess there's 4 inches of water and 3 inches or 2 inches of sand, or whatever it might be, or gravel, and I just put like like a half a gallon into a 10-gallon like every 2 days, every day. I keep doing that every time I look at it, and then bring it back up that way over time, So sudden change is bad for shrimp, but Salawasi shrimp seems to be even more sensitive than. Definitely, that's why they're so expensive, damn. Right? Hard to keep alive. I hope, oh buddy, I hope you didn't too. Well, I bet 82 degrees, right? You could keep them outside. They do great outside in California, I think, all year round, or if not almost all year round. I'm gonna get another beer, guys, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So it's been like 2 hours. I'm gonna sign off. I'll stay for like a couple more seconds. I gotta grab some wasatang. It's honestly, it grows so fast. It's like such a good plant, but then it can get overwhelming if it's like if you don't control it, it can become too much. And the next problem I personally have with sabwasatang, and like I guess not a problem, but it's a con. Like, so we're looking at pros and cons, I guess. The con, I would say, is that it doesn't stick to anything as well. Like, it grows in clumps, and so if you have filters that are like fast flowing, or like you have it in a Playco tank and stuff, it generally seems to get everywhere. These like little tiny green pieces, and then it's like you lose it. Like, if you just bought it and you put it in like a tank with flow, you do end up losing it. So that's something to keep in mind also. Got 10 for 150. I hope I don't kill these. Oh my god, they're 15 US dollars. That's like 20 bucks each, bro. That's 20 bucks Canadian. That's a lot. Here, I'm gonna grab another beer real quickly. Oh. Yeah, so my beta breeding is going great. So far, I got 4 different batches of fry to raise. Nice. Our parameters hard with sabwasatang. They tend to like KH, decent amount of KH. I mean, they do grow in my soft water tanks, so let's be honest. They don't need high KH, okay? But they seem to like it. They do grow better when the KH is there. Like, so if it's a tank that I'm doing a lot of water changes with, like from my tap, for example, which has a decent amount of KH, like, not a lot, but like a 3 or 4 KH, I would say, on average. I don't know what it is here, but where we were it was. But and that, those tanks, they tend to grow faster. But then even in my like shrimp tanks, they grow like decently fast, where the pH is like 5.5. So there's no KH in there. They were very little. So yeah. I gotta also eat. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna sign off. Hope everybody's having a great evening. George is saying beta's going great. That's amazing, bro. What do you feed in them? Yeah, it grows on its own. It grows in clumps. It doesn't seem to attach to anything. But it does go everywhere. Like, if you have this kind of filter, it's gonna go everywhere. See? That's just pushing it. The only reason there's probably not a lot of sabwasatang in here. I don't think there is. These are all like 3 other types of plants. But yeah, I'll show you guys some when I get more over here. Baby brine shrimp straight. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. You need to know that one, because I thought you would have to go with paramecium. That's what we used to do when I was a kid. Paramecium first and then BBS. That's cool. Alright, guys and girls, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you so much for being here, and hope you guys have a great night. And I will do more updates as I bring fish in. We'll try to see what we brought in and how they're doing and stuff. I do have fish upstairs. I have Corridoras, 2 groups actually in buckets. They're just temperature acclimatizing, but there's no lights up there, so I can't film, so I can't show you how they look or anything like that. So I'd have a live stream during the day, so I'll try to do that. Okay, and I'll also try to record some videos, because I guess once we're settled in, not yet. Yeah, we'll go from there. Good night. Oh my God, this guy, you watched this the whole time. That's awesome. Thank you. Make you our moderator. Good night, Rohan. Hope everybody has a, well, I guess it's depending on where you are, it could be night or early morning. But hope you have a great day, evening, however it is. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you are leaving off right now, and if you are watching this on the replay, also thumbs up. Thank you so much. Love you all. Good night, Sandy. Sandy's been here the whole time too. Thank you so much. I love you. Me too. I gotta crash. Good night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, or well, Longfin Lagoon at least. He'll message me probably tomorrow. He just moved his things. So good night, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, love you all. God bless you, and good night.